All right, cuz. So let's see where we at now. So another hard thing with this here is trying not to overthink it. You know what I mean? I was dealing with this cuff, and I was looking at this gap right here because either I would have to. Let's see how big a gap this is. Well, the way I got it pinned, let's see. This is about a 1/2 inch gap. So, which ain't that bad. I can take it out. I can taper it here. Just taper it in a 1/2 inch. So this will fit perfect. But it's looking sweet right now. But what I was going to ask is, see how with that 1/2 inch gap, you get to see, even when they fold up the sleeve, which it ain't buttoning though. So yeah, so that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to, I think it looks pretty, I'm going to top sew it just like this. But like I said, I'm going to take that 1/2 inch. So it won't button now until I take that 1/2 inch out. If it will, but it'll button, but it's going to pucker. See how it's puckering? That ain't where it's at. So, and see if I leave it like that and fold it up. Okay, you still get some of that fray poking up. It ain't too bad. Like I say, when I taper it and take that 1/2 inch out, then I think it'll be fine. So we got the sleeves going. But you see how my pin game, you pin it like you sew it. As far as this is, how I got it pinned is how it's gonna, how I'm gonna sew it. So it's looking, how I look now is how it's gonna look once, That's what I mean, these pins, they just, you don't have to wonder how it's going to turn out. You pin it, and just how it look when you got the pins in there, that's how it's going to look after you sew it. Okay, so we ready for this. I just know I got to take it in a 1/2 inch, the sleeve. And then, so which seam do you know to work with? You look at all the time, the easiest is not the best way to go. Just because it's the easiest way to go don't mean it's the best way. But in this case, we're going to go the easiest way. Now, see how this is double top stitch? Look how this seam is pressed down. We don't want to deal with that. It's got 2 seams on it, on the sleeve. It's got this difficult sleeve seam that's got the double top stitch, and I would have to take it all this top stitching loose to deal with this. But this other seam right next to it, it don't have that double top stitching on it, so it's free. So what you do is you turn it inside out, then you lay it out like this here, boom, and then now I can just sew this right on my machine. Now what we say, it was a 1/2 inch this is a 1/2 inch too wide for this. So you would mark that at the collar, at the this point here, 1/2 inch. Boom. Make my little chalk mark. My camera work is terrible. But whatever. Okay, so now I got that 1/2 inch where I'm coming in. Start at this sleeve joint where it join in with the sleeve. I'll start. See where the stitching is right here, the stitch line, right at the cross stitch line, which is where the sleeve joins with the body of this jacket or whatever it is. That's where I want to start at. So I got the long ruler. That's why I say you gotta have 2 rulers, a short one for the close quarter work, and then you gotta have a long one for the distance work. So right now I'm gonna drop my ruler right on the stitch line of the connection, right? And then the far end of it, the distal portion of the ruler, I'm gonna put it on my chalk line that I made and lay it down, press it down flat, and just connect the 2 lines. Boom. Okay, I screwed up big time, but I see where even though it got a little off for me, I can fix that easy because I got my angle. Once you got the angle, boom, you can just make this work. So instead of going way up into the sleeve now, the way this thing is angled, it don't really start coming out to down here. So I'm gonna start down here and get it perfect. And then just eyeball it and look how smooth. Is that gonna be smooth? Because if it's too dramatic, angle, you're gonna see that when you wear the garment, it's gonna look ridiculous. It's gonna pull. You know, if you have it all crazy, it ain't gonna look right. You want it to have a even a flow, like a natural flow. And so when they put this on, boom. Now I can go sew it, but what if it ain't right? Then I'm wasting time. So I'm gonna put a cross pin right on that stitch line. Make it like I used my machine and sewed right and sewed it up. Make sure it's gonna look right. Like I say, these pins will tell you. And if you don't have a sewing machine, you can pin it in place and sew all this stuff by hand, man. All right, here we go. So this is called tapering right here. You tapering the sleeves. All right. So instead of putting it on a machine, I pinned it. This is how I look on the other side. It's laying good. You know, you will kind of prop it up and see how it's hanging, how it's looking. And it's not looking so bad. If it was more than a ½ inch that I was taking it in, like if it was 1 inch or 2 inches, I would have to open up this other seam to balance it out. Like take so much from here, so much from there, so it won't look so crazy. Because if I took 1 inch from here, it would pull it all in from one end and it would make this way full over. You know, you gotta take all that into it. Okay, so boom, that look nice. Now let's put this collar back on, this cuff back on here on the taper now to see. Is that my side? What's that mark I made? Oh, I made that mark the other day. Yeah, that's my side mark right there. So we're gonna put the collar back. Another thing I want to ask you is that you want this button on the outside or the inside, right? Because when you flap it up, with the button on the outside, the button will be up here on it when you wear it like this. And if this your main look, do you want the button on the top like this? Or do you want it to be like this on the top and then coming out like this when they wear it down? See, this button. Or either I could put a button, maybe I can put a button on both sides. Say, hold on, let's see. That might be some shit right there. Okay, up like this here. Where the hole at? The hole is on this side. So I would just put a button on both damn sides. That's how we're going to do that. No big deal. Yeah, the double button. Okay, so let's put this in here. Let me button it up. Feed it back in here. Got tight now. See, that's what the taper means. It tighten it up, tighten up that sleeve. So now, how is it gonna pinch it? Oh, and we wanted it back here, right? We wanted the sleeve to be to the pinky, right? We did that the other day. Okay, so boom. Now I'm gonna pin it again as if I sewed it. Instead of putting the pins in perpendicular, I'm putting them in parallel because that's the way I would sew it. I would sew it parallel to the. God damn it! Be careful of that. See how I told you these bad boys are dangerous? I poke through. See, I got my finger back here holding it together. And as I poke through the fabric, I push this bad boy right into my goddamn finger. That's going to happen. All right. Then it'll bleed a little bit. But you don't want to keep working. I mean, you're going to keep working, but you want to stop that bleeding because if not, you'll get it all on the stuff. So, but I don't bleed. I ain't got time to bleed, so I ain't bleed. Okay, so let's put this back in here. Try it again. Don't stick yourself. Okay. And it take time. Like I said, I'm just working a little bit. That's why you do a little bit every day. You know what I'm saying? It's this project got three parts to it. The